Hello mate, right, let's make you a great video. I appreciate your concerns coming from Auckland and wanting to know what you're really getting into. So let's make a YouTube video, do this properly. Car's been sitting out here getting covered in dust and pollen coming off these trees. It's got the Propus wheels on it at the moment, but I prefer the Titans. I had these and I just wanted to see whether I liked it or not, but I preferred the Titans. You see what's going on here. Yeah, that other video, 6 minutes long. I couldn't upload that to Facebook Messenger. Oh my gosh, hang on a sec. Right, two hands were required. So here's the motor. What do we know about this motor? So let's go into it a bit. MSD ignition coil, a couple $100 there. You've got a 3-inch inlet MAF there. So that means that basically your MAF sensor here, when it's a wider pipe and less volume going through, it can measure the airflow more accurately because the speed at which the air passing through is less because the inlet is smaller. And what that allows your ECU to process better, because it's dealing with less speed fluctuation. I think we've changed out the TCV turbo control valve in there as well. So that's the turbo is a 16T rebuilt as a 19T with a different compressor reel by Steve Murchison in Auckland. When I say Japanifold, what that is the 5-cylinder exhaust manifold is off a later car that was meant to flow a bit better. So there's 10 horsepower in there. It goes into an angle flange, which is a wider 3-inch exhaust flange, down into a 3-inch downpipe at the back there. It has the cap removed, so it's tuned for that. The ECU is from a later P80. They're both Bosch ECU, but it's like one series later, and it's a better ECU. It can basically make more calculations per second. It's slightly more accurate and easy to tune. You can see in there it's got the Bosch green injectors, so it can flow enough petrol through those injectors to actually keep up with what the turbo can do. That's why those are on there. The cam belt, as far as I know, hasn't been done, but my mate who helped me with a lot of this work, Don, he's a retired master mechanic. You know, you can look at a cam belt and know the sort of state that it's in, but I did buy a cam belt kit. So there's a cam belt here, water pump, tensioner, a bunch of stuff that can go on there. I want to keep that. It's got rubber floor mats. I prefer to keep them out. The fan, it does make a bit of noise, but there's a replacement fan there. And there's some other ECU parts in there, like the automatic ECU, not required. It's got another Titan spare wheel in there, but someone's painted that black at some point. Sorry, the car hasn't had any love for a couple of months. I've just been working hard. Oh, fuck, I just broke this thing here. This is, don't know what that is, so random bit of plastic. No harm done, mate, no harm done. Exhaust tip that came off. I had a V70R that had these cool oval exhaust tips on it, so that's a bit radder than the original one. It's got the standard factory box in the back, which is about the right amount of volume, I think, for what you really want to hear out of these. So I've got another car that has a 3-inch straight pipe. For a while it was unbearable drone, and then I added resonators, still unbearable, but this car doesn't drone on the motorway, which is awesome. Started up last weekend, but that video, as we said, didn't work. Hang on a sec. Just turning on now. So it just fired. Oh, hang on. What happens is that if you don't make a proper contact on that battery, so I haven't tightened that on and just got that on there loose. Sometimes it won't give you ignition. You just gotta push that terminal on nice and tight. There we go, straight away. So here's these seats, actually pretty good. I mean, there's a little bit of wear in the Alcantara there, but it's kind of hard to find anything much better than that. Doors, I had another T5 and I put all the best parts on that car onto this car. I had the best of everything that was available between those two cars and sourced other spare parts as well. Put a bit of radio in it. Replaced this part here. It's got a nice Nardi gear knob on it. And I was saying you probably couldn't hear me last week, but when I got the car there was a little bit of rust up here, so this windscreen is actually a replacement window, and I had that rust professionally removed in this top part, the roof repainted. There's a small dent in this front panel. I had this panel replaced. There's a little bit of damage down on that sill, so that's I think we were doing the image. I think I had another sill replaced, but it didn't. Only the T5s have the stripe in it, so in the end I just left that one on there. But that part is in Auckland. I think I may have had these repainted as well. Going back a while now. Someone else, when the car was, the previous owner, his flatmate was a panel beater, and they've actually done a pretty good job of repainting the whole car. Obviously it's dirty at the moment, but it's pretty straight. But they didn't leave these plastic molded bits matte black. And you know, if I was going to keep going with this car, I'd probably use bumper black and take those back and the inserts on the bumper back to matte black. This lip is actually an aftermarket lip that came out for a couple of years to replace when people broke these lips and you can no longer get the OEM, but it is a deep lip, but it's slightly kind of squarer in profile and slightly stronger than the other ones, but it's still the same cool look. So it's a little bit of noise in the tappet, but that's, to be honest with you, like all of these 850s, that they pretty much all sound like this. It's really normal. So there's probably still a bit of moisture burning off in the exhaust. Yeah, there is. You just see that dripping out. The car's hasn't been driven. So that's, yeah, just white smoke, not black smoke, and there's a bit of soot just dripping out there. I'll try and leave this here and give it a bit of a rev. So yeah, a lot of things have been done, man. It's I think I've got a split here. It needs a new couple of clips and a new. I think I've got that part somewhere. Let me go inside and talk about this a little bit. It's quieter. So yeah, appreciate you coming from another city. So the bad of it, let's talk about that. In here, there is some record of, I think this car was originally ex-Singapore. Obviously they only made 956 of these cars in black in the world. God knows how many are left, but probably not too many. In here somewhere there's some record of the odometer was changed in Singapore for some reason. I think it stopped working, and they've fitted one that isn't the turbo speedometer. On the turbos you'll see a boost gauge up here, and this information here that gives you miles per gallon and things like that, that talks to the speedo, and it should display mileage and things like that in that little window. It would be good to have one of those, but we don't have one of those. In this speedometer, I think it needs a little bit of work. I've had a couple of times, I did notice driving down from Auckland, where the values on it would sometimes get erratic and then it would kind of come right. So I'd say that is an area that will need some attention. That part isn't particularly expensive, but you just have to find someone who's got one that is willing to part with it. Shouldn't be impossible. And obviously while you're in there, there's tiny little plastic wheels that fit on the back of the tachometer, that the little wheel breaks off and you put the new wheel on and it starts to count mileage again. So it's kind of a job for when that all comes out. As I said, you probably couldn't hear me last week, the dash is pretty good. Like a lot of these, when you're driving them around, they make a real kind of cracking, noisy sound. And what happens is when people have taken them off badly and broken all of the clips, then they start to get quite noisy and creaky. This one was kind of flaring out here. This was starting to kind of bow out. So I did something bad, but I thought it was good, and I still stand by it. I put that screw through there just to kind of hold that in and stop that flaring out anymore. And when you're sitting in the driver's seat, I couldn't see it, so I thought that was good anyway. What else? No, nice tight handbrake. Oh yes, roof lining. It would be better to go back to a grey roof lining. I mean, not grey, sorry, this fawn colour. Someone else has done this in the past, not done an amazing job of it, but it's not falling down too badly. At the end of the day, a roof lining is a $300 job. It's no big deal. And yeah, that little bit up there, that just probably needs a bit of rust treatment in there. Getting quite hard to find these roofs now. I've actually got one, but I still have an 850R. I don't really want to give away all my spare parts. So anyway, what else? No, stereo sounds good. It's got that stacker in the back if you want to plug that in. Depending on where the car sits, you might occasionally get a bit of a leak coming in through under here. That's why that's off. It's been actually off the whole time I've owned this car. I never put it back on. And I thought that one day I'd get to that fan unit and then install that. If I turn on the car again, and just let's see if we can get the fan noise. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Yeah, that fan's basically, it's erratic. Just doesn't want to go at the moment. So that can have a few dramas. Yeah, AC never worked. All of the windows work. I did a repair on one of the doors not long ago. It stopped opening from the inside. And that's working again. Seat belts, I think I may have put in better seat belts. The old ones were a bit damaged. I replaced those. Yeah, anyway, any questions you have, bro, you're welcome to give me a ring. 021 323 695. Peace.